So we are going to study constructors in Java programming. So what basically a constructor is? Constructor is a special member function. Like we have a functions in Java programming. Similarly, constructor is also one of the special member function. Constructor of a class must have same name as that of class name. So whatever will be the class name, that should be the name of constructor, and it should not have any return value. Okay, and that means it doesn't have any data type. A constructor in Java cannot be an abstract, final, static, and synchronized. And when we create an object of a class, constructor gets called automatically. So this is the concept of constructor. Now in Java programming, we have two types of constructors. First is default constructor and second is parameterized constructor. So first we are going to see default constructor. Now a constructor which does not have any parameters, we call it as a default constructor. So let's see what is this default constructor with the help of example. So I've taken one notepad here and I am deriving one class. So I'm taking a class name as defconst. Okay. Now in that class, I'm declaring some variables n1, n2, and sum. We are seeing the program of addition. Now I want to call a constructor. So as we know, constructor is a special function and constructor have same name as class name. So class name is defconst. So my function name will be also defconst. So now I have written one constructor, that is one function defconst. Then inside that I am taking a values for n1 and n2. So let me take a static values. N1 is 20 and n2 is 10. You can take these values from user also. Okay. So what I did, I have called one constructor. We know constructor is a special member function. Like we write any function, this is also one of the function and it doesn't have any data type. So I have just written defconst. Okay, inside that I have declared a values n1 is 20, n2 is 10. Now I'm again taking one function, user defined function, let's say cal. Now you might see the difference between constructor and user defined function. Here we have written a data type and we have given a name whatever I want. But in the constructor we have given a name same as class name and it doesn't have any data type. Okay, so now in void cal function I am just writing a logic sum is equal to n1 plus n2. I have written a logic sum is equal to n1 plus n2. Now I want to print that logic. So I'm writing system.out.println. Inside that I'm declaring a value of sum. Now I'm closing this class. See, I have closed this class. Now I'm again taking another class called as xconst1 or xconst. Okay, I'm taking another class. Inside that class, I'm writing my main statement, that is public static void main. Inside that string args. Okay, now I want to create an object of class. So how to create an object of class? Class name, that is xconst obj is equal to new class name, that is xconst. Okay, so I have created now my object. So one of the property of constructor is whenever we create a object of class, constructor gets called automatically, right? Whenever I will create an, here instead of creating a current class object, you need to create a object of previous class, that is def const. See, instead of creating an object of current class, you have to create an object of previous class, that is def const. Okay, see, I have created this object of previous class. Now, the major property of constructor is whenever object is created, constructor gets called automatically. So we no need to give a call to that constructor, but the whatever the user defined function here we have, that is cal, for that we have to give a call. So how to give a call? Obj, that is my object dot cal. So this is the simple program of default constructor. Okay, default constructor means the function does not have any parameters. See, inside this we don't have any parameters. So if we don't have any parameters, we call it as a default constructor. So this is the example of default constructor. Now I will save this with my main class name, that is xconst dot java. Okay, now I will run this code. See, the output is 30. I compile this code and then I run this code. I got the answer 30. Okay. So this is the simple example of default constructor. So let's see parameterized constructor. Only two constructor we have in Java programming, that is default constructor and parameterized constructor. We don't have copy constructor in this Java programming. Okay, only two constructors are there. So now we are going to see parameterized constructor. So those constructor with parameters, we call it as a parameterized constructor. So what does this means? Now see, same code, I'm going to revise it with the help of parameterized constructor. Now I'm writing parameters into the constructor, that is int x and int y. Okay, two parameters I have written, int x and int y. Now I'm saying n1 is my x and n2 is my y. Okay, same code. Now see, when you are creating an object in the main statement, okay, when you are creating an object, in that you need to pass a constructor parameters. See, inside this bracket, I need to pass a parameters because I have written int x and int y. I have declared a parameters into the function called as def const, which is my constructor. So I need to give two parameters. So I'm giving 10 and 40. Okay, two parameters I have given. Same code, I will compile this code again and I will run this code. Now see, my output is 50. So same program we have done with the help of parameters. What we need to do is we just need to pass a parameters int x and int y. So this is the example of parameterized constructor. The constructors which don't have parameters, we call it as a default constructors, and constructors with parameter, we call it as a parameterized constructor. So if you are giving a parameters into this constructor, then compulsory you need to pass values into the object creation. So this is the simple example of parameterized constructor. Now there is another concept in Java, that is constructor overloading. constructor overloading. Now, what does it mean by this constructor overloading? We can call multiple constructor in one program. That we call it as a constructor overloading. Now, how to call multiple constructor? Now, see, in this same program, I'm calling one more constructor, and that is my default constructor. Okay. Now, inside that, I'm just initializing some values. That is n1 is 0 and n2 is 0. See, this is my default constructor. And then next one I have is a parameterized constructor. Now in the same in single program, I have declared two constructors. Okay, one is default constructor, another is parameterized constructor. So if you have more than two constructors, sorry, more than one constructor, then we call it as a constructor overloading. Okay, so let's save this code and I will run this code. Output will be same. See, I'm getting the output as 50. So this is the concept of constructor overloading. Now we will see the concept of this keyword. Okay. Now in the Java programming, we have this keyword, this, this as a keyword. Now we'll see what is this keyword.